I want to know, Toby. We've talked about before when 9/11 happened. Lots of people, especially in maybe bigger cities, might not have known anything of what a crop duster does. But was it after all flights were grounded, and then you guys had to get back up in the air? Is kind of when people found out?
Yeah, I still remember going out to. I wake up at 4:30 or whatever every morning, even now. But that morning went out and we had potatoes to spray, and anyway, we were waiting for for some chemical that morning. Otherwise, I hadn't sprayed yet. And anyway, turn on the TV in the office, and here I remember Charlie Gibson of I think or WAY or whatever it was, saying that the trade centers have been attacked, or not attacked because they didn't know at the time yet. They thought it was just an airplane running into the tower. And anyway, I don't know if I had coffee at the time or if I even drank coffee, but as it went along, of course, they were figuring out what actually happened or was happening. And then the one in Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania, and the Pentagon, and well, anyway, that was on Tuesday morning, September 11th, 2001. On Wednesday night, Peter Jennings did a special, okay? And by that time, all the terrorist guys had been acknowledged, or they'd figured them out. Okay, a crop duster in Florida calls up the FBI. Hey, one of those guys, and I forget the name of, he said he came to my place, and all he wanted to do was learn how to take off an airplane with a load on. Well, that's a little bit more involved than just getting your flying license. And anyway, he thought that odd, and this was of course well before 9/11. But anyway, okay, so Capitol Hill, everybody's on alert in Capitol Hill there, and like I say, that the crop duster operator calls in, and that alerts the people on all the legislatures and whatnot, and some of them said, well, let's just do away with those guys. What do we need them for anyway? Yeah, serious. This is what, 20 years ago. And yeah, some of them didn't. What do we need them for? And so the FBI I became friends with John Delzeel. He was an FBI agent from Fargo, lived in Barnesville. But okay, the industry had to make sure our airplanes were locked if we had a hangar or if you didn't have a hangar, you had to get a chain and paddle lock or locks somehow on the propeller so that it couldn't be used as a terroristic threat. And John didn't even, being from this area, didn't even know what we really did. Yeah, you'd see him in the airplanes out once in a while, but didn't work on a farm or wasn't, hung around the farm, but he didn't know our real purpose. So, we flew out him and I and a couple other sprayer buddies met with the ag department. We flew out to Bismarck, and he hadn't been in a smaller airplane before, and he's a big tall guy, and he was twitching around and whatnot, and anyway, that was his first small airplane ride, and we met with the ag department, and Johnson was at that time, forget his first name, but anyway, we met with them and met with the Aeronautics Commission, and the FBI wanted to know every airplane in the country that was a crop duster. And we all of us, there's only 3,500 of us actual pilots in the crop duster industry. And we had to, make sure our airplanes were secure every night, which, they're just like family. Other than we don't take them to bed with us, but we tuck them in, meaning lock the doors and make sure that they're cooling down, and not a fire or anything. But so they learned. In fact, John, we'd went out to Bismarck twice. Another time after that, and he says, "You guys, we don't have to worry about you guys. You treat your airplanes almost as good as your wife." And I said, "Watch where you say that," because she thinks so too. but anyway, it was and the Capitol Hill people needed to be educated. I mean, that's where Farmers Union or the ag industries, Seneca Sarvis States, or even at that time the big Cargill had to help educate those people. I mean, right now there's 2 to 3% of the population of pushing 400 million, in the country that are involved in agriculture, and that means from not us as a crop duster or farmers all the way to the Cargill, to the Seneca Sarvis States or any of the conglomerates. We got to educate that 97% of what we actually do, or where their food comes from. Those guys at Capitol Hill from inner city or whatever, they don't get out of the city, and they get their milk and meat and everything at the store. That's their answer. And unfortunately, our kids are some of the same way, and it's that. I mean, we can laugh about it, but my wife's a teacher, and the kids in Fargo think the same thing. What are those guys doing out in the fields there? Well, they have no concerns about it, so they, it's just the education part, and we got to keep. We as an industry have to promote ourselves essentially, and we're here in America. We have the crop dusters and farmers are contributors to the safest, most abundant, most affordable food supply in the world. Every other country in the world spends 25 to 35 cents of their dollar on food. Here in America, we spend 8 to 10 cents, and it's getting less all the time because of the technology and the efficiency of our farmers. Back, I turned whatever I did, but 1958, when I was born, neighbor lady gave me must have been when I was 50 or something, or 40, whatever. Everything that happened on my birthday back in 1958. Well, our world population was 300 million or 3 billion people. That's what it was, something like that. And when I graduated in 76, it was just under 4 billion. Well, now it was January 11th of 2011. I wake up, turn on the news, and they're celebrating going over 7 billion people. And what's the big deal, And anyway, that's when I look back at that deal that neighbor lady gave me about what in 76, it was under 4 billion people. And now by the year 2030, we're supposed to be going over 9 billion. We're at 20, it was supposed to be like, or 25 is supposed to be like 8 billion, and we're right there now. And by the turn of the century, we're supposed to be looking at 11 billion people. So
it's amazing that since you were born, and really not that distant future from right now, we're going to be triple the amount of people in the world from where you were when you were born. And really, relatively speaking, you're still not that old. You still have plenty of years to go.
I hope so.
I hope so too, of course.
Unless you become an accomplished pickleball player, right?
Oh,
Toby?
oh my God.
That's
Toby
another
has
story.
a pickleball story,
right.
But
Anyway, so you said you were talking about 9/11 and how I saw in the video that you did with Madison that they shut you guys down for 4 days. But they were actually considering completely shutting you guys down for good.
Absolutely.
That's amazing, because when you say that, you touch of the 3.47 million acres of cropland, you touch crop dusters touch a third of that.
All the acres.
You just now took out a third of all the acres that needed to be sprayed And what backfills that? You know, there's basically nothing that's going to be able to backfill that, at least overnight anyway.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Of course, like I say, we were spraying potatoes, and a lot of those went to French fries at the McDonald's or whatever locally. And in fact, Artie Offit is just in one of the magazines this week about when he got into or graduated from Concordia College, whatever it was. Anyway, he's 81 years old. So, but when the fast food restaurants went to the fries, I mean the potato thing just took off, and he had planted, I think he said 600 acres. First year, him and his dad did, and then once they went from 600 to 3,600, added 3,000 acres. The next year, he said that if that didn't go well, he wouldn't be farming right now or doing whatever. That was the backbone, and still is, of his conglomeration, his empire. And it was, so potatoes we'd be spraying 12 times a season, 13, 14, just depending on the disease pressure. Okay, so that's your French fries till next summer. The guys down south, Arizona, California, Florida, those are fruit and vegetables fresh till next summer. And the winters can get long up here. But that's what we had to educate Capitol Hill about is, okay, do you guys want rotten food and vegetables, through the winter, or you want to survive? Let's look at this a little harder. Well, they let us go. The airlines got going on that Thursday after 9/11. We got going on Friday morning, and we had to. Which for me, it was easy enough to get done with the potatoes, but the guys down south spraying, their fruit and vegetables and stuff, with more acres. I just had one grower essentially at the time with 1,000 acres. Maybe we got that done easily, but we'd be ready to do it again the next Friday, which we were a couple days. We had overdue already, but we put them on that Friday schedule we had to be shut down again the next Friday. Their big deal was after that crop duster in Florida, recognized that terrorist guy. They were thinking that, okay, these guys could fill the crop duster 500 gallon or whatever it was with anthrax or something and fly over the football. Well, the first Saturday, the football games were all canceled. Well, the second weekend, then they were on again. Well, they shut us down again, worried about, something like that happening, flying over the stadium with, anthrax or whatever it might be, and a terroristic threat of some sort. So they eliminated that by not allowing us to fly, that weekend until Monday morning again at 7:00. And that happened. That stayed that way all fall, until freeze up, essentially. And that's what, we're still protecting a lot of that stuff until freeze up, because you want to get as much out of the growing season as you can, and sunflowers or edible beans, type of thing. So yeah, that was a weird, a scary time for all of us, and how to be attacked on our soil is the only time it's ever happened,
Mm-hmm.
And
other than Pearl Harbor, I suppose, right?
Yeah. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's quite the thing to say. It's amazing that not everybody would even feel that. Like I had no idea about this, and I'm right in the middle of all of this here too. 9/11, I would have still been back in high school, and I had no idea that all this stuff was happening. And you really don't know how things affect different industries. Of course, we had COVID a few years back, and there was that. But I I don't think that I really realized what this did in our food supply anyway, back around 9/11.
Yeah.